Hi, this is Dr. McClellan, and this video is about the draft assignment. So let's talk about the draft assignment for a minute. So the draft assignment, this is probably very different. I realize that this process is very different from what most people are used to, because typically you do a rough draft first. And we did a thesis statement first, and I'm going to use this opportunity to review what those assignments are for. So the thesis statement assignment is first because it gives us our focus for our essay. Because remember, writing should start with a focus. It is not, it's different in college, and it's different in the world of work. It has a focus from the beginning. And not only does it help us develop, but it also helps us, it stops us from doing a lot of unnecessary writing, a lot of unnecessary work. So it's also very efficient, and it can be done quicker. Then you did your pre-writing. You made sure that you had scope and depth in your pre-writing by making sure that your pre-writing answered a set of reporters' questions about the topic, your stance, and the three major supporting details in your plan of development. And then we did an outline to make sure that we had coherency and unity, so everything made sense, was in a logical order, and it all supported the thesis statement. And then we took our research, we went and did research, and we added it to our outline. Well, now we're going to take our outline, our research outline, and we're going to format it into a draft finally. And we're going to do that. So see, here's my essay 1 research. So I'm going to save this as essay 1 draft. There we go. I always like to copy and paste it just in case something happens and I lose it. So how do I turn all of this into a draft? Well, I'll show you. And let me make this a little bit smaller so that you can see it as it happens, and then I'll make it bigger too. So this is what it looks like. Remember, this is what my outline looks like. And now I'm going to turn this into paragraphs. So the focus of the draft, make that a little bit smaller. So the focus of the draft assignment is to make my outline, put my outline into MLA formatting, Modern Language Association formatting. So I've highlighted my entire outline. I did not highlight my works cited page at all, just the outline. And I'm going to remove that formatting. And the way I'm going to do it is by clicking Clear All Formatting. And see, it took it all off, took all my outline off, and it kept everything. It did keep my highlighting, and it did keep all of, it did put all of my information, all of my sentences, all of my lines on the left margin. It did not double space my quote, and there are a couple other places it probably wouldn't have double spaced also, like here, but that's okay because I'm going to take care of that eventually. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you my process. I like to get my paragraphs formatted before I add my MLA header, heading, and double spacing. You can do it in any order you want to, that's fine. And also remember, this is going to look different on, unless you're using the exact same word processing software I'm using, which is Word on my computer. It's going to look a little different, but you can Google or YouTube how to do it on whatever it is you're using. Okay, so here's my title. I am going to bring it down 1 space because I know I'm going to have to put something above it. So I brought it down 1. I'm going to center it because essay titles are also centered. I'm going to put my cursor in front of my first sentence and I'm going to tab it over because that's the first sentence of my paragraph. See, I'm going to move all these sentences up here, but this is the first line of my paragraph, so I'm going to tab it. And then it's just the same thing over and over again. Put your cursor, remember what we did on our annotation paragraph? Put your cursor at the end of the sentence above the one you want to move. And then I'm just hitting the delete key, y'all. And you'll notice that it's not double spacing it for me automatically. I'm going to have to do that myself. So even if you get to the end of a line and you need to move a sentence, it's okay. Put it there at the end. Otherwise, you'll have a gap that won't be good. It'll throw your paragraph formatting off. And see, this is the beauty of using the highlighting. All of the yellow sentences make one paragraph. Now I am going to go ahead and move this back. Let me see if yeah. And then I hit enter and it's going to move it over to the side. You can do it that way, or you can just do it. Oh, come back. I lost a word. There we are. I lost a letter. Now the problem with this, and I'll show you. Let me get all this done. So I'm going to indent that first line and move all these lines over. The big thing is, of course, with this first essay, you know, you might be trying to do it exactly the way I'm doing it in the videos, and that's fine with me, as long as you have the same result, the correct result. I don't care how you do it. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not sitting there, you know, watching how you do it. The only way that doesn't count is you can't, on the outline, you have to format the outline. You can't just type it. You can't type the outline on there. You have to format it. Okay, so here's my whole essay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five paragraphs. I had 5 sections on my outline. I've got 5 paragraphs in my essay, in my draft. This is my introduction paragraph. This is my conclusion paragraph. And these are my body paragraphs. Now I'm not done. I need to double space. I need to double space all of these paragraphs. But you will notice that between the title and the first paragraph, there already is a space. Same thing with each of the spaces in between each of the paragraphs. Now, if I double space this, let me double space these first 2. If I double space these, you'll notice that there's more space in between my paragraphs than there is in between the sentences or the lines in my paragraphs. And you really don't want that if you can at all do it. You can at all stay away from it. So what you may have to do is tell it to take out the spacing, which of course is going to get rid of all of your formatting. So if you want to, you can do it that way from the beginning. I typically do it that way from the beginning because I know that it's not going to be spaced right. But I wanted to show this the way you would see it. Now see, I have no extra spacing. So I need to come in and notice that it also changed my font size and style. So highlight the whole thing and do 2.0. And now I have evenly double spaced all of my essay. Now again, I need to, unfortunately, I'm going to need to come in and do Times New Roman. Size 12 is what I use. You can use Times New Roman or Arial or Calibri if you really like Calibri, and you can do size 10 font or size 12 font. Okay, so the next thing is to put in my header. The header goes here in the upper right hand corner, and it goes in the header area. Header is pagination. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to come over here to the right. I am not going to use the header function. I'm going to use the page number function because this is pagination. Click page number. You want it at the top of the page and you want it all the way to the right. And I'm going to type my last name, and this is my fake student, and I'm going to type a space, and then I'm going to click, I'm going to make sure that this is in Times New Roman, size 12 font. This font, this typing has to match the rest of your essay. And now I can close it. Okay, now once I have that, my pagination, my header pagination, now I need to put in my heading. And it's the student's names. So here's my student. There's her fake name. And then the second thing is the instructor's name. Please spell it correctly. And please either use Dr. or Ms. I prefer Doctor, but please do not use Mrs. I will count off if you use Mrs. I may be from Jasper, but I was never married to my father. And then you need your subject. And for us, it's English 1301. You can put the section number in if you want to, but you don't have to. And then we need the date. And I'm just going to use today's date, because if you use today's date, it'll put it up there and you just click enter. The date has to be formatted either month, day, year, and you have to use the word for the month. Do not put the ordinal, so don't put 3RD. We may say February 3rd, but we don't type the 3rd. And the other way that you can format your date that is also MLA formatting is you can put a day, month, year. And so, is that over? Yeah. So I would type 3, type out the word February, and then put the year 2023. But this is also, one more. This is also acceptable. This is MLA formatting also. And I like it because I can click on enter and then the computer does it for me. All right. So I have my header, I have my heading, I have my title, I have 5 paragraphs, I have my direct quote with a lead in and with my in-text citation. I have an introduction paragraph, a concluding paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, and I have my works cited page, which is on a separate page. It's the last page of my essay. And I have my works cited entry that is correctly formatted, and I have my annotation, which is correctly formatted and includes all of the information that I need. So what's the next thing I do? Well, the next thing you want to do is you want to proof it. This is part of what you do with, let me make sure all my things. I'm letting my computer, my word processing program, proofread my essay. And I think if you're using Word Online or Google Docs Online, I don't know about Pages, y'all. I don't have a Mac. It shows it over in the right-hand side. So I do have some things that are underlined, but they don't look too terrible. I do need to select all, and I do need to get rid of my highlighting. There we go. Now I can see all of this better. So if I right click, it's going to tell me this is passive voice. There's not any really way to get around it. I can go in and make a few changes, but so far these aren't too bad. But I need to make certain, so I need to go in and look at my errors list, because unfortunately one of the things that most of Hold on, I know I got it. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my errors list, because the other thing you're supposed to be doing is now this is in the assignment unit. There we go. So one of the things you're supposed to be doing in the draft is looking for errors. So the way my table is set up, there's grammar, punctuation, spelling, and usage errors first. So you're looking for any kind of making sure that you don't have any capitalization errors. Make sure that you don't have any vague pronoun references or misspelled words, wrong word choice, inconsistent verb tense, passive voice if possible. Now, most of your grammar, punctuation, spelling, and usage proofreading tools like Grammarly, or like the ones in your word processing software, are going to catch most things. It's the academic style errors that they don't catch. Let me make this a little smaller so we can see the whole thing. So like no hyperbolic language. So don't use anything like really or very or totally. Nothing like that. And then you're not going to use any informal language, so no slang. No first or second person pronouns, only write in third person pronouns. Do not use one as a pronoun. First of all, it's a British affectation, and we're not British. And two, it's still first person, so don't use it. No contractions. Don't start sentences with conjunctions. Make sure that you're writing in present tense verbs. Be specific on your times if you have times. Make sure that you're writing in statements. We don't use questions in our essays, and we don't use exclamations in our essays. Don't use adverbs. So don't start a sentence with firstly or secondly. Just say first. Don't use compound sentences with colons or semicolons. I know that some of the proofreading softwares will tell you to do that, but don't do that. You don't need to do that. And then don't refer to the reader. It's not about the reader. Always write in the plural, so people rather than person. And then it gets into the errors list, gets into the MLA essay formatting. So your margin should be 1 inch. Your header, it tells you, it talks about, where I just talked about the header, the heading, the title, the correct paragraph formatting, and then quotation, MLA quotation formatting. And so you need to check all of these things as part of the process of your draft. And one of the easy ways you can do that is you could use your find option. So like, for example, if you want to look for the word you in your essay, you would look for you. Let me put one in here. And then go back up here to the top, and I'm going to search again and see, not only will it list it here, it'll put it here, and I can come right to it, and then I can edit it and take it out, because we don't use second person pronouns. So that's an easy way to find those types of mistakes. So what you would do is you would just do just like I did. You would pull up your document on one side, and you would have the errors list also, and you can print the errors list if you'd rather have it printed, and you can print your essay too if you want to work with the paper instead of digitally. You don't have to do it all of it on the computer. It just has to be submitted on the computer as a typed document. And you would go through and you would look at that error and make sure you don't have that error on your essay. Because remember, this is college, and I don't mark errors. I grade for errors. I will count off if you have errors, but it's up to you to find them. And if you still keep getting marked for, say, grammar or style or punctuation errors, then you need to talk to me after the second time about what kind of grammar errors do I have, and you need to have an idea of your error, because by this time in your education, you should know whether or not you are misspelling words. You should know what your big types of errors are. If you've been paying attention at all to your own writing process in high school, you should definitely know. But if you don't know, that's what we need to figure out. And we can do that together. I'm not going to tell you. We're going to discuss it. We're going to figure it out together. Okay, so this is my draft. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to let Dr. McClellan look at it, one more time. And then she's either going to tell me submit it as a final draft, or I can submit it as a final draft, or I can edit it one more time, or I can continue to edit until the due date. Just make sure everything's turned in by the due date. It is up to you if you want to. If you think it's going to be a good enough grade to turn in for a final draft, that's up to you. And just because you make 100 on the draft does not mean you're going to make 100 on the final draft. Just because you make 100 on any of the assignments doesn't mean you're going to make 100 on the final draft. It increases your probability, but it doesn't necessarily always work out that way. All right. If you have any questions, contact me, and have a good day. Bye-bye.